It's also about that time. I guess I'll talk about Guardians now. I'll be up front. This game is great. I'm very much enjoying it. I'm enjoying the story so far. And man, I've been throughout this whole podcast, I'll find myself just randomly chuckling right now throughout this whole episode because I'll leading up to this moment because of one thing and one thing alone. And it's fucking what you said about it's only when you're on when I talk about Mass Effect, because I'm gonna reference Mass Effect a lot with this fucking game.
I will say I'm curious to hear you talk about this game, but before you get into it, I will say I've read one brief review on it. I didn't read the whole review. I just there's a tagline that caught my eye. It was a review of the Nintendo Switch Cloud version.
Yep. I am going to talk about that.
And I believe it was referenced as the worst way to play a great game.
Yep, I saw the same article. And man, I was talking to Josh about that briefly yesterday because, obviously he doesn't have like a PC or new consoles or anything. He has a Switch, that's it. And he's a big Guardians fan. He's a Guardians comic fan before the movies ever came out. So he wants to play this game. But it's the question, does he want to bite the bullet and get on this cloud version? My answer is no. There is way too much going on for this to be a cloud game on the Switch.
I'm very hesitant of buying anything that specifies cloud version.
I agree.
Because all that means is we couldn't make it work on your hardware.
Bingo. And that is basically this game. Because man, I was doing a section of the game last night when we were leaving the rock where the Nova Core was, and just hordes of enemies as I'm trying to break our ship free to leave. And as I'm playing that, I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, I need to text Josh immediately after this and tell him, whatever you do not buy this game for the Switch for that cloud version, because there was so much happening. And that's just in general, man, like flipping through and using and making sure that you utilize your abilities, whether if it's just like, left trigger X to just start flying, left trigger square to throw or circle to throw my grenades out, and then also doing, left bumper, square to hit, I think that one's Groot, to use his abilities, whatever. And keep in mind, it keeps going down to a further tree. All your Guardians can all get 4 abilities. So as you hit the right trigger to open the Guardian menu, you hit square to initiate Groot, and then you have to hit one of the 4 buttons again to initiate what ability you want to do. So I will say in that regard, I feel like this game would probably be really good on PC. I have not seen a PC control layout of how the buttons are on there, but I feel like there's so much going on for just a controller. But even though that's the case, it's kind of jarring and difficult at first once you get introduced to the Guardians, and it's going to continue to get difficult as I continue to unlock more abilities. But once you get the hang of it, it's really not that bad.
I was going to say, just hearing you describe how you have to initiate the menu, then initiate who you want it to be, and then initiate what ability you want. That seemed. I kind of understand why, if you're going to have a bunch of different abilities for different characters that you're basically just activating while they're doing other things. They just, by nature of it, it's going to be clunky.
It is. It's not. I've personally always felt like the Mass Effect character menus to pull up to use it's a big wheel and every character has a shit ton of abilities. I always thought that was a little bit clunky, but more streamlined. It's more straightforward. It's just the fact that there's so many. So in the heat of battle, you're just quickly hit this menu and scroll around, hit what you want to hit for each character. This is thankfully very quickly. It does not pause the game. That
was what I was about to ask.
Yeah, it does not pause the game, but it severely slows the game down. So that does make it better. It does make it better in that regard. And like I said, once you kind of get the hang of it, it's really not that bad. And I say that now. I only have unlocked a second ability for 2 characters. So I have 2 characters of the Guardians that have 2 abilities. Keep in mind, they all get 4. So 2 of my characters still only have 1 ability, so it makes it easy. So I don't know. You got in the heat of battle, especially when there's a lot of enemies going on. I guess you just need to really pay attention. Your brain's got to be rolling because you're like, all right, I need to use this build. I need to use that. I need to use this. Need to use this. And I will say it is making it a little difficult because I have found myself in those situations of where it's like I see everyone's abilities up. Like, all right, let's do this. Let's do that, and I'll get hit or something. It's just like, oh shit, my bad. I'm trying to dodge and do this at the same time. So it is a little difficult. But I mean, I'm also just a bad gamer. So, I mean, I feel like a good gamer would probably be fine.
Okay, here's a question I gotta ask, because I haven't watched anything on this game yet.
Mm-hmm.
When they showed the game initially, one of my biggest concerns was it felt like you weren't doing any damage against anybody. It all came from using the abilities of other people. Is it still like that?
At the beginning of the game, a little bit. It's not as bad as what we saw. You can still do some damage.
It's not like you're just kind of sitting there like
literally playing chess,
almost just like
a Pokemon trainer.
Yeah, it's like you're just kind of sitting there. It's like, okay, well, I'm sitting here, I'm shooting at him, but I'm doing nothing. I might as well be shooting with a fucking water gun or something.
It's not that bad. Okay. At the beginning of the game, it may feel that way. You're still doing damage. I'll tell you up front, it's not as bad as what we saw. You're doing damage for sure.
So it feels like you're being meaningful to the battle, not just all I'm doing is waiting on this cooldown over here.
Yes.
Okay.
And as the game is going to continue on, you're going to continue to get stronger. I'll go ahead and say this because I don't feel like it's a spoiler. It happens very early in the game, within like the first 2 or 3 chapters. And plus, when you literally start up the game, it shows you the controller layout when you're starting the game for the first time. Like, here's your button layout. It literally already says what the fucking buttons are going to be, which I feel like that was kind of a spoiler move because as soon as I read that, I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? And then I found out. So as the game goes on, your guns, you end up getting different elemental abilities.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like you have like the ice. I've now unlocked electricity, you have fire and wind. So as you get those as well, you can flip between like for me, it's the right trigger is normal shoot and the right bumper is the elemental shoot. So between that alone, you can do some serious damage because like I'll have like these weird blob monsters that has a spike in it. Throw ice on that. The goo gets frozen immediately. Fire a shot, goo's gone, and then lock on, kill that thing instantly. So I do feel like I'm doing damage.
Okay.
Which is nice. That is something that, obviously we did have a concern about.
Yeah, that was one of the first things I noticed in it. I'm like, this all looks great, but it looks like he's doing nothing.
Yeah, no, that is, in my opinion, taken care of. And as you continue to go on and get your upgrades and stuff, it definitely, you feel meaningful for sure. Now, one thing that I do overly love about this game, just because of my diehard love for Mass Effect, is I love the downtime between the missions when you're on your ship and you just go talk to all the members of the Guardians, because that sort of stuff is what made Mass Effect so great, was being on the Normandy, talking to everyone and getting all these different dialogue options and just where you're going to go with it. I enjoy that. I do enjoy the quick reaction moments in conversations where it'll pop up like it'll pop up square on the screen for me. You click it and then you get to choose one way or there, or you can just choose to stay silent. That's your choice, and that will have impact on you. It'll pop up at the right corner of the screen where, for example, we saw this in the initial reveal where you can throw Rocket across this chasm. I threw Rocket. Yeah, it's just like, well, how are we going to get over there? It's like, oh, well, we could do this, and Drax picks him up. It's just like, well, I could just throw him, and Rocket's getting really fucking pissed, and I chose to throw him, and Star was like, yeah, dude, just go ahead and throw him. You'll be fine. It's like, yeah, you'll land on your feet, and then he just hits the ground, and Peter's just like, oh, maybe that only just applies to cats. And it pops up the screen. Rocket is furious that you let Drax throw him. So that's all cool. I enjoy that. There was one part when you get back to like the Nova Core Rock, whatever, you have like a helmet on, you're listening to something, and you can choose to say, hello, is this thing on? Or stay quiet, and it pops up. The Guardians agree with you that staying quiet was a better option. So that sort of stuff is great. The conversations are great. And just the conversations in general are honestly fantastic. I love I've enjoyed just sitting there on the ship, just standing completely still and listening to two characters bicker back and forth. It is hilarious to me. I love how literally almost nonstop everyone is cursing at every other word, but it's like their space talk. So like flark is fuck. So everyone is saying, oh, you gotta be flarking kidding me, or you flark hole or whatever, nonstop. And I enjoy that because obviously it's just them cursing. They have an alternate word for shit and ass and everything, just space talk, and I really enjoy that. With some of the interactions, one of my favorite ones so far is it was me, Gamora, and Drax going through this one area, and we're hunting like a creature, and Peter's just like, so did you guys have any pets as a kid? And Gamora's like, I had an eyeball in a jar. It always looked like it wanted to blink, but it didn't have eyelids, so it just couldn't. And then Peter's just like, okay, moving on. Drax, did you have any pets? And Drax is like, but I kind of want to talk about the eyeball. Just stuff like that is just very funny to me. When you go meet like our main antagonist, Lady Hellbender, she knows who Drax is. It's like, Drax the Destroyer. And she starts like talking him up and stuff. And Drax comes over to Peter, and Drax like, Peter Quill, I think that she's flirting with me. And Peter's just like, and you can choose how you can like either say, hey, I'll take the lead, or go and encourage Drax. And I encourage Drax. And Peter's like, I don't know, man, just put the fucking moves on her or something. Fucking go flirt with her. So it's just stupid shit like that. It's just very entertaining. Walking into the bathroom on your ship and Groot's in there with your toothbrush, and you're like, is that my toothbrush? And Groot's just like, I am Groot, and just slams the door on your face. Same thing with Rocket. You open the bathroom, Rocket's got your toothbrush. It's like, why are you guys using my toothbrush? And Rocket's like, it really gets into the small areas. You know what I mean? And then just slams the door in your face. All of that is fantastic. The gameplay, like I said, it does feel a little cluttered because there's so much going on a single controller. I feel like if I had like the Xbox Elite and it was mapped to the Elite with the bumpers, on the back, I feel like that would probably make the gameplay a lot better. So if PlayStation had something like that, that'd probably be pretty sick. But just on a standard controller, it does feel like there's a lot going on. But once you get the hang of it, it's really not bad. And so far, the story is very entertaining. The chapters are quick. And I know the story is probably like a 20 to 30 hour completion, which fine. That's about what Marvel Spider-Man was, depending on how much exploration you did. So I think I'm on like chapter 7. So the chapters are not long. They're not like a Red Dead where there's only 5 chapters across this massive game. It's like a bunch of like pretty quick chapters, which isn't too bad. It is also kind of interesting as you're going through the different areas. If you choose to go off the map and kind of like, all right, hey, I see some, materials. Let me go grab that and, go explore. People will, get mad at you. Like Rocket has 0 fucking patience for you. 0. Where you go off and then, go check this out, and Rocket's like, oh, what the fuck is he doing now? I was like, oh, is he gonna fucking call us over here? Oh, guys, look at this. This looks so cool. Like making fun of me and shit. So that's all. It's great. Like if you like Guardians in any capacity, you like the interactions that we've seen, like the movies or the comics or whatever, you're gonna love this game. Like the interactions are honestly fantastic, and the gameplay is very entertaining as well. Of course, is what you would expect out of Guardians because of what the movies did. The music in the game is fantastic. It really sets the mood continuously. Like you have the huddle up ability, which is pretty entertaining because you can fuck that up. Where you huddle up, it's like, guys, huddle up, and everyone comes up and they're talking about the fight that you're in. Where they're, if in one way, if they're like, man, we're really kicking ass, yeah, we got this, and then depending on like your option, you can fuck it up. Where it's just like, Gamora like, Peter, what are you talking about? We're winning. And then it's just, everyone's just like, no, you're an idiot. And they'll run away from the thing. It's just like, what way to read the team, Peter. So when that happens, you get the buff, but they don't. But then if you do it the correct way in the huddle up, everyone gets a buff if you like inspire them to continue on, whatever. So that is all entertaining of just how much people will shit on you on a consistent basis. But I mean, it's really fun though.